Indian classical music, one of the most ancient arts, is based on pure melody. Emotional experience is created through the fusion of certain recognized notes in each scale. And for this, a rich variety of instruments is used. In the Sangeet Ratnakar, a time-honored treatise on music and song, the many instruments have been classified into 4 groups. Tat, stringed instruments. Sushir, wind instruments. Avanad, drums. Ghan, percussion instruments. Our composers of old, who were extremely sensitive to musical patterns, found that tones and half-tones were not enough to express their feelings. So they evolved quarter tones to bring to the scale a delicate richness. In the Western musical system, the scale is composed of 12 notes, 7 basic and 5 half notes. But Indian music has a scale of 22 notes or shrutis. The 7 basic notes of a scale are, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si. Or in Indian notation they are, da, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni. Of the remaining 15, 5 are half notes and 10 quarter notes. We can recognize each melody or rag by its scale. In the Kafi rag, this is the combination of notes. And this in the Todi rag. In both rags, this note is common. But in the Kafi, it is a half note. In the Todi, a quarter note. The quarter notes can be played on string or wind instruments. Such tonal patterns can be translated visually by an electrical instrument, the oscillograph. Here's the half note. And now the quarter note. Watch closely. Notice the difference in size. The quarter note is more spread out. One of the oldest of the many stringed instruments of India is the bean, popular in North India. The bean has a hollow wooden base attached to 2 gourds, also hollow, to give resonance. There are 7 strings, 4 for playing and 3 for rhythm. A cousin of the bean is South India's illustrious instrument, the veena. The veena also has 7 strings, 4 for playing, passing over 24 frets on the bass, and 3 for rhythm. The sarangi is another famous popular instrument. Rich, vibrant tones are created by 35 sympathetic wires running under the 3 main strings. The sarangi is ideal for music mellow in mood. No pressure is applied on the strings. Instead, the fingernails slide along the strings while playing. sarod, another melodious performer. Splendid for rhythmic music, the sarod has a rich tonal quality. It also has sympathetic strings below the main ones. Among the most celebrated of all Indian instruments is the sitar. For producing resonance, it has 20 sympathetic wires below the 7 main strings. Frets are adjusted according to the rag or melody played. The sitar interprets the delicacy as well as the vigor of our music. Without drums, Indian music would be incomplete, for they create rhythm and symmetry. There are many varieties of drums, of which the tabla is one that's very popular. These then are the looms of sound on which our creative artists weave harmoniously the rich and timeless pattern of melody and rhythm that is the music of India.
Maihar, a tiny township of Madhya Pradesh. Here lives Ustad Alauddin Khan, affectionately called Baba by musicians and music lovers. A centenarian, the Ustad has become a legend in his own lifetime.
Yes, ये कृष्ण भगवान भगवान महादेव महाभूति सब कर रहे हैं.
Simple, God-fearing, he respects all religions. His life is a moving saga of adventure. He ran away from home to Calcutta at the age of 8. After spending many anxious days in a temple in Panthuria Ghat, living on one meal a day, he found his guru in the famous Tripura, Nilo Gopal. After 7 years, his parents traced him and brought him back to Tripura. They got him married. But on his wedding night, when everyone else was busy with the celebrations, the bridegroom slipped away to seek his first love, music. In a few years, he made a mark as a musician. The famous actor, Girish Ghosh, gave him a job as an instrumentalist in Minerva Theatre on a monthly salary of 12 rupees. Alauddin then joined the court of the Raja of Mughal in Mymensingh, where he met the Sarod player Ahmad Ali Khan. Alauddin promptly became his pupil. With him he went to Rampur, where he was destined to meet Wazir Khan, the celebrated veena player of the Tansin family. Approaching Wazir Khan was a problem. Once, when the veena player was out on a drive with the Nawab of Rampur, Alauddin lay prostrate before the carriage to attract his attention. Wazir Khan was impressed by the talent and the tenacity of his new pupil and taught him for many years. With the blessings of Wazir Khan, Alauddin later became the court musician of the Raja of Maihar. Since that time, Maihar has been the Ustad's home. It's here the Ustad trained a group of orphans and organized the Maihar band. This experiment gave an impetus to all such later efforts in Indian orchestration. In 1936, the Ustad stepped out of India for the first time. He accompanied the famous dancer Uday Shankar on a tour of Europe and was acclaimed by Western audiences. return, he stayed with Uday Shankar at Almora, where great gurus of Indian classical dancing were his colleagues. Alauddin, who plays almost all Indian instruments, now established himself as a teacher. This stern disciplinarian molded his children and his pupils into famous musicians. His daughter, Annapurna, his son, Ali Akbar, his son-in-law, Ravi Shankar. His nephew, Bahadur Khan. Nikhil Banerjee. Sharan Rani. Ashish Khan and many others. These artists today constitute the most lustrous musical family in India, and he still continues to guide fresh talent. The nation acclaimed his genius by awarding him the Padma Bhushan. When the Ustad became a centenarian, it was an occasion of national rejoicing. Despite his fame, Baba is still the simple man that he always has been. Age has not wilted his sensitivity. For this restless genius, there is no halting place. He has still miles to go.
This is All India Radio Lucknow, broadcasting on medium wave 394.7 meters. Now we take you to the Shastriya Sangeet Sabha, organized by All India Radio. Look at thyself, but from our eyes. He is 90 years old. Time stops for no one. Age comes with the passage of time. But look how his fingers dance despite old age.
लेकिन इस बुढ़ापे में भी इनकी उंगलियां किस तरह थिरकती हैं? मुलाहिजा फरमाइए, कलाकार हैं
Ahmed Jan Thirakwa, the tabla maestro. I am the youngest son of Khan Sahab, Ahmad Jan Thirakwa. Most of my life has been spent in travels with him. We are 3 brothers and 6 sisters. The head of the family is Ustad Ahmad Jan Thirakwa, a famous artist who has been awarded the Padma Bhushan by the government of India. My father thinks that rhythm is the essence of life. Without rhythm, man cannot move a step forward in any sphere of activity.
लय के बगैर इंसान एक कदम भी नहीं चल सकता.
असामा रज़ी ने जैफ के मुकाम पर क़याम किया था। इरादा ये था कि दूसरे रोज़ सुबह की नमाज पढ़कर मुल्क शाम की तरफ रवाना होंगे। रात को तमाम मुसलमान इसी मुकाम पर ठहरे, लेकिन अन हजूर सल्लम की नासाजी तबाह का सबको ख्याल था।
अंतरराष्ट्रीय जब मालूम होता तो शुरू होते ही गवैये को समझ लेता तबलिया, जब ये ठेका दिलेगा और हाँ इसकी लय होनी चाहिए। उस्तादों के पास रहना चाहिए, जब तक खिदमत ना करे उस्ताद की हर तरह से, और सबक हो बुजुर्गों का, जब बनता है बच्चा। कॉलेज में नहीं बनता आदमी, समझे सर?
मुझे बिस्मिल्लाह कहते हैं, और कुरान मजीद शुरू होता है कि बिस्मिल्लाह से है। लेकिन याद रखिए, हम सब कुछ हैं नहीं हैं, हैं हम सुर के कायल हैं। सुर जो है किसी की मजाल नहीं, दुनिया में किसी की ताकत नहीं कि जो उसको कम कर दे। नहीं नहीं, सुर माने एक आवाज है। जी हुजूर, वो आवाज क्या है?
उस्ताद बिस्मिल्लाह खां बड़े खुशकिस्मत थे कि उनको भगवान ने बहुत सी बातों से नवाजा था, और शहनाई में जो आज दुनिया में उनका डंका बज रहा है, ये सब भगवान के देन है। हमारे यहाँ जिसको कहते हैं मिठास, गाने बजाने में मिठास और सुरीलापन, तो जब मिठास और सुरीलापन सही तरकीब से लगता है, जैसे अगर दिल से दुआ निकलती है तो कबूल होती है, वैसे उनका सुर जो दिल से मिठास लेकर निकलता है तो लोगों पे अपना कम से कम एक किस्म का कैफियत तारी हो जाती है। पहले पद्मश्री, फिर पद्म भूषण, फिर पद्म विभूषण और फिर भारत रत्न, ये चारों सीढ़ियां उन्होंने स्टेप बाय स्टेप ऊपर तक गए हैं।
मार्च 1916 को बिहार के डुमराव गांव में जन्मे बिस्मिल्लाह खां को उनके चाचा अली बख्श, जो खुद एक प्रसिद्ध शहनाई वादक थे, उन्हें बनारस लेकर आए। 7 वर्ष के इस नन्हे बालक को शिक्षा प्राप्त करने के लिए पाठशाला भेजा गया, परंतु उस बालक पर तो एक ही धुन सवार थी, संगीत, संगीत और केवल संगीत। उनके चाचा ने उनकी इस रुचि को देखते हुए एक 6 इंच की लंबी शहनाई उन्हें दी। इसे नफीरी कहा जाता था। उस बालक ने उसे अपने होठों से लगाया और समझा कि इसे फूंकते ही स्वर लहरी फूट पड़ेगी, परंतु उसे फूंकने पर एक अजीबोगरीब स्वर निकला। उस स्वर को सुनते ही वहां बैठे और लोगों की हंसी फूट पड़ी। तभी चाचा अली बख्श ने उन्हें अपनी गोद में बिठाकर बतलाया कि शहनाई को कैसे पकड़ते हैं और किस तरह इसमें सुरीली आवाज उत्पन्न की जाती है। उस बालक के शहनाई में महारत हासिल करने के दृढ़ निश्चय को देखते हुए अली बख्श उनके मार्गदर्शक एवं गुरु बने। सर्वधर्म संभाव का प्रतीक बनारस, जहां प्रतिदिन अनगिनत पर्यटक एवं श्रद्धालु यहां के धर्म स्थलों को देख हर्षोल्लासित एवं नतमस्तक हो जाते हैं। श्रद्धालुगण गंगा मैया की पूजा अर्चना में विलीन रहते हैं। यही धर्मस्थली उस्ताद बिस्मिल्लाह खां साहिब की कर्मस्थली बनी। यही वो घर है जो बिस्मिल्लाह खां साहिब का आशियाना बना। न जाने कितने लोगों को खां साहब ने यहां शहनाई वादन की तालीम दी। इसी घर में अनेकों संगीत की महफिलें सजीं। ये वो दालान है जहां जुमे की नमाज के लिए तकरीबन 100 से 150 नमाजी नमाज पढ़ने आते थे। खां साहब इसी तख्त पर बैठकर अपने बच्चों से संगीत की चर्चा करते थे।
उस्ताद बिस्मिल्लाह खां साहब हमारे देश की तहजीब के और मौसीकी के, संगीत के जीती जागती मिसाल थे। बहुत ही खुशनुमा उनकी शख्सियत, हर इंसान के साथ प्यार से, मोहब्बत के साथ बातचीत करना। शहनाई एक इतनी खूबसूरत साज है जो सदियों से हमारे देश में एक खुशियों की पहचान बनी हुई है। तो शहनाई शादियों के वक्त में राजा महाराजा लोग तीसरी मंजिल पे बिठाते थे और उसको नफीरी भी कहा जाता था। लेकिन उस्ताद बिस्मिल्लाह खां साहब की शहनाई में कुछ ऐसी कशिश थी, ऐसी उसमें पाकीज़गी थी, इतनी मनमोहक थी वो कि लोग उसको अपने पास लाते रहे। और तीसरी मंजिल से उसके बाद फिर वो कॉन्सर्ट प्लेटफॉर्म के ऊपर आ गई। शहनाई को एक ऐसी जगह मिली जो शहनाई हमारे देश की पहचान बन गई। उस्ताद बिस्मिल्लाह खां साहब हमारे देश की पहचान बन गए।
सबसे पहले तो कहना चाहूँगा कि भाई बिस्मिल्लाह में वो सब गुण थे जो एक अच्छे नागरिक में होने चाहिए। उनका शहनाई वादन हर एक जगह हुआ, वो चाहे समाज की कोई बात हो या राष्ट्र की। रही संगीत की बात, बहुत ही सुरीले आर्टिस्ट थे वो, और उनका बहुत ज़्यादा प्रेम उपशास्त्रीय संगीत की तरफ था। वहाँ से बहुत जुड़े रहे वो, जैसे कि ठुमरी, कजरी, दादरा, होरी, चैती, ये उनके बड़े प्रिय थे। वैसे हम दोनों ने एक जुगलबंदी का प्रोग्राम किया था 20-25 साल पहले। उसमें एक बड़ा राग भी हमने बजाया था, राग मालकोस। बाकी उसके बाद ठुमरी भी थी।
वसंत देसाई की पिक्चर गूंज उठी शहनाई में, वो पिक्चर कुछ ऐसा ही था। मेरे साथ सितार की जुगलबंदी शायद पहली दफा हम लोगों के साथ बजाने का इत्तेफाक हुआ।
क्लासिकल शास्त्रीयता तो थी उनके अंदर, लेकिन उन्होंने फोक म्यूजिक को, कजरी, चैती और ठुमरी, बनारस का जो रंग और जो हमारे संगीत की जो एक पोइट्री का जो लेवल है, जो कविता का लेवल है, वो ग्रामर से ऊपर थे, लिटरेचर से ऊपर थे और पोइट्री के और शायरी की ज़बान में उनका संगीत बातचीत करता था। तो उस्ताद बिस्मिल्लाह खान साहब सिर्फ हिंदुस्तान के ही लोगों के दिल में नहीं बल्कि पूरे दुनिया के दिल में बैठ चुके थे। और वो पहले ऐसे संगीतकार थे कि शायद उन्होंने सबसे ज़्यादा जुगलबंदी अपने जीवन में बजाई। मुझे सौभाग्य हुआ उनके साथ बजाने का, तो हम लोगों ने मिलकर वैष्णव जनतु बजाया, सरोद शहनाई और राम धुन बजाई, रघुपति राघव राजा राम। उसके 1-2 महीने बाद हम लोग कलकत्ता में बजाए।
मैं बाबा उस्ताद बिस्मिल्लाह खान साहब के बारे में जब भी कुछ कहना चाहती हूँ, मैं ऐसा महसूस करती हूँ कि मैं भाषा रहित हो जाती हूँ। उनका जो व्यक्तित्व रहा वो बिल्कुल अनोखा। उन्होंने जिंदगी में प्रमाण कर दिया कि जो सुर की पूजा करते हैं वो इंसान से परे हो जाते हैं। और वाकई मेरा और उनका जो परिचय हुआ था वो सुर के जरिए हुआ था। और मैं इस युग में मैं समझती हूँ कि बाबा की तरह व्यक्तित्व बहुत विरल है। हमारा पहला जुगलबंदी 2001 में हुआ था। और सबसे बड़ी खास बात, आप समझो कि आप भारत रत्न के साथ बैठ रहे हो। मैं तो डर के मारे मर रही थी। जब मैं गाने बैठी तो उन्होंने कहा कि भूल जाओ कि तुम्हारे पास भारत रत्न उस्ताद बिस्मिल्लाह खान बैठे हुए हैं। उन्होंने साधना से उस जगह पे पहुंचे थे जहां से इंसान देवता बन जाते हैं। मैंने उनमें वो देवता पाई है।
सांस का मुकाबला वो हाथ से खाली, हाथ से तबला, ये सब 2 घंटा 3 घंटा बज गया। ये तो 10 मिनट में फुला देगा हाथ से। लेकिन हम ये चाहते हैं, हमारी तबीयत है, जरा से पूर्वी धुन बजा दें हम।
पूरे विश्व में शहनाई का परचम फहराने वाले इस उस्ताद की सेहत अचानक खराब रहने लगी। 21 अगस्त 2006 को उन्होंने अपनी अंतिम सांस ली और शहनाई वादन का एक युग समाप्त हो गया।
शहनाई का जहां नाम आएगा उनको जरूर याद किया जाएगा।
आज मैं उस देवता को प्रणाम करती हूँ।
और हमेशा अमर रहेंगे क्योंकि अपने शहनाई, उनकी शहनाई हमेशा अमर रहेगी।
Now you will hear Alap, Jod and Chala in Rag Puriya Kalyan.
Guruji, could you kindly say a few words about the Gurukul system, which has been the tradition in India?
Gurukul system is one of the greatest things that has been existing in our tradition, and I sincerely hope and pray that it will continue to exist. Because according to our tradition, we consider Guru as the greatest emblem for all sort of learning. We respect the Guru at times more than God even, and it is the total surrendering of oneself to the Guru for whatever vidya or whatever art or technique or craft. It could be music, it could be yoga, it could be religious training or anything for that matter. And this feeling of reverence, respect and total surrender helps one to really learn, and with proper sadhana, that is, discipline and work and total humility, one can achieve a great deal.
Could you kindly say something about sadhana a disciple is expected to do?
Well, sadhana is one of our very important things in all fields of art, religion, and sadhana is very difficult to explain in English. It's not just mere work or practice, it's with that feeling of total surrendering to Guru and reverence and dedication and fanatic zeal in working. That's all summed up in the word sadhana. And without sadhana, nothing can be achieved. And that's sort of the message that I have for the young people, is that there's nothing that can be achieved instantly or through the help of drugs or through help of, giving up everything and living a life of giving up just mere wealth is not enough. You see, one has to work hard. Unless one has the sadhana, as you said, nothing can be achieved. So there must be total discipline and proper sadhana to achieve anything.
Every temple in South India reverberates with the sound of music emanating from the Nagaswaram, a wind instrument. For centuries, The Nagaswaram has been given a pride of place in temple rituals as the Mangalavadhyam, the musical accompaniment for auspicious moments. It is an integral part of the Panchakala pujas and rituals from dawn to dusk in temples. There can be no religious ceremony or social event such as weddings without the Nagaswaram. Many a Nagaswaram stalwart has emerged from small towns and villages of Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. And one among them is an illustrious Nagaswaram exponent who was born in Andhra Pradesh and long settled in Tamil Nadu, Sheikh Chinna Maulana. Srirangam, the holy temple town on the banks of the river Kaveri. This ancient temple of several hundred years is the abode of Lord Ranganatha. And not far from the temple, in one of the lanes, lives the renowned Nagaswaram Vidwan, Sheikh Chinna Maulana. Sheikh Chinna Maulana, as the name suggests, is a Muslim who has mastered the Mangalavadhyam of Hindu ritual. And there are no major temples or temple festivals wherein Chinna Maulana has not performed. The Maulana says,
music is my religion. I reach out to the Supreme Being through music. I believe there cannot be greater happiness for me than worshipping the Creator of this universe and life through music.
Chinna Maulana's musical lineage dates back to several generations of musicians who belong to the Chilkaluri Peta Padati or style of Nagaswaram playing. Incidentally, this school of Nagaswaram musicians in Andhra Pradesh belonged to the Muslim community. And they had the privilege to perform in the temple in Chilkaluripeta generation after generation, a tradition which continues even today. Tracing his immediate family tree, the Maulana says,
My great-grandfather, Sheikh Adam Sahib, grandfather, Sheikh Abdullah Sahib, my father, Sheikh Qasim Sahib, and uncle, Madar Sahib, were well-known Nagaswaram players in Karavadi, my native place in the Prakasam district of Andhra Pradesh.
తర్వాత ఆశ్రమ నాగేశ్వర సంగీత ఆశ్రమం ఒకటి పెట్టి ఉన్నాము. అందులో కొంతమందికి ధర్మం చేస్తూ ఉన్నాము. ఇంకా ఎంతోమంది పెద్దవాళ్ళు చిన్నవాళ్ళు అందరూ నేర్చుకుంటారు.
Sheikh Chinna Maulana grew up listening to the Nagaswaram right from his cradle in his ancestral home in Karavadi. The house was always reverberating with the music of the Nagaswaram all through the day. Either his grandfather or uncle or his own father would be doing sadagam, which means intense practice. He very naturally took to playing the instrument at the tender age of 7 under the tutelage of his father, Sheikh Qasim Sahib. Later, he was sent to Sheikh Adam Sahib of Chilkaluripeta for further learning. Chinna Maulana, which means the younger Maulana, began performing in public at the age of 9, accompanying his father. He moved to Tanjavur, the citadel of Carnatic music, in 1950. The Maulana went on to learn the Tanjavur Bani from Nachiyar Kovil Rajam Turaikannu brothers in the Gurukul tradition by living with them. Duraikannu Pillai recalls,
From 1951 to 1959, Sheikh Chinna Maulana learned from me in the Gurukul tradition. I have taught many students, but Chinna Maulana is very special. He was very attentive in class, and after class, he would sit in a corner and review all the lessons mentally, sometimes even till 2 o'clock in the morning. Again, he would get up early in the morning, go to the terrace and practice the same on the Nagaswaram. That enthusiasm and devotion to his music and his guru continues to this day.
In fact, it was his Tamil friends who unwittingly changed his original name of Sheikh Chinna Maula to Maulana. And then, says Sheikh Chinna Maulana, Lord Ranganatha beckoned me. I came and settled down in Sri Rangam. It is from this humble home that the Maulana makes his innumerable trips around the year to other parts of the country and the world, enthralling his thousands of appreciative audiences. For over 6 decades, Sheikh Chinna Maulana has endeared himself to his audiences all over India with his mesmerizing music flowing from this difficult wind instrument, the Nagaswaram. The Maulana is well known for his raga alaps and renderings of kirtanas. Chinna Maulana is an ardent devotee of Saint Tyagaraja, one of the trinities of Carnatic music. He has offered his obeisance to the saint by his soulful renderings of the Pancharatna Kritis during the Aradhana. What distinguishes the maestro from the ordinary is his briga-laden performances. That is, delineating the raga with its finest nuances and rendering kritis with bhava, which is not an easy task on a tough instrument like the Nagaswaram. Chinna Maulana's music is a regular feature in the household of the common man of South India. People have found peace and solace while listening to his recordings. Chinna Maulana was not only adored by the South Indian audiences, but other stalwarts from the different disciplines of music and dance. The Shehnai maestro Bismillah Khan and the dancing legend Birju Maharaj also have a lot of admiration for his music. The universal music of Chinna Maulana has gained him admirers not only in India, but also all over the world. Sheikh Chinna Maulana is the Asthana Vidwan of the Sringeri Mutt of Shankaracharya. His reverence to the Acharyas of Kanchipuram takes him to the Kanchi Mutt now and then. The Acharyas rejoice listening to his devotional renderings. The performance is often followed by a discussion on music. Awards, acclaim and recognition were showered on Sheikh Chinna Maulana for his sterling contribution to Indian music. The nation has honored him with the Padma Shri. The Sangeeta Nataka Academy Award and fellowship titles such as Kalai Mamani, Isai Perarinyar were bestowed on him by the Tamil Nadu government. The Andhra University awarded an honorary doctorate and gave the title Kala Paripurna. The Chaudhaya Memorial Award was presented in Karnataka, and several more awards and honors followed. This wall says it all. Sheikh Chinna Maulana is an affectionate patriarch. He lives with his grandchildren and great-grandchildren under one roof. The Maulana says his family observes all the Muslim festivals and celebrates Hindu festivals such as Vijaya Dashami, Vinayaka Chaturthi and Diwali as well. They visit temples and also offer prayers at the mosque. He believes that music, being the universal language, helps him to transcend all man-made barriers. To the younger generation, Maulana's achievements are a source of inspiration. His grandsons, Qasim and Babu, accompany him on the stage in his performances. Maulana's grandson Qasim says,
We are 6 grandchildren to our grandfather. First 5 of us are sons, and the last one is a daughter. My mother is the only child of our grandfather. From our childhood, 2 of us stayed with our grandfather, who educated us and taught us music, and it is due to him we are what we are today. Grandfather never cared for any mundane things in life. Music was all he knew, and that is the world he lived in. It was my grandmother who took care of the family. She died a few years back. Grandfather is a very reserved type of person. Even during his learning days, he used to keep himself away from others because he cared only for his music. Even now, after attaining fame and glory, he still talks only of music all 24 hours of the day.
music 24 மணி நேரம் மியூசிக்கை பத்தி தான் அவர் வந்து திங்க் பண்ணிட்டு இருப்பாரு.
Even in his late 70s, Sheikh Chinna Maulana is not the one to rest on his laurels. He continues to teach the fine art of playing the Nagaswaram to his disciples in his music school, Sarada Music Vidyalaya. Chinna Maulana gives great emphasis to learning Sahityams. He says it helps in rendering kritis on the Nagaswaram with clarity and bhava. Sheikh Mehboob Subhan, a disciple of Maulana,
Both of us had our early training from our parents. After marriage, we joined Chinna Maulana and have been learning from him for the past 15 years in Sharda Sangeet Vidyalaya. Initially, we used to stay with him. He fed us and imparted his knowledge to us whenever he got the time. His speciality is to teach the compositions along with their meanings and moods, for he believes that if you do not understand the words, you cannot bring the spirit of the kirtis while playing. He is also a master in knowing how to develop a raga alapana, how to play it for 10 minutes, elaborate the same for half an hour, or if necessary, play the same raga for 1 hour. He never took money for our stay and studentship. We are very grateful to him.
మేము త్రూఅవుట్ ఇండియాలో అంతా అన్ని సభల్లో కచేరీలు వాయిస్తున్నాం. ఎంత వాయిస్తున్నా కూడా వారి దగ్గర నేర్చుకోవాల్సింది ఇంకా చాలా ఉంది. వారు మా దగ్గర ఎటువంటి ఫలితం ఆశించకుండా మేము వెళ్ళినప్పుడల్లా వారు మాకు కాదనకుండా ఇంతవరకు మాకు సంగీతాన్ని చెప్తూనే ఉన్నారు. వారికి ఎప్పుడు మేము రుణపడి ఉంటాం.
Sheikh Chinna Maulana is saddened that the present-day concerts are conscripted to the changing lifestyle. No elaborate alaps, detailed niravais. Everything is polished, packed and marketed within 2 hours of concert time. However, he is enthusiastic about the emerging talent. He is all praise for the younger generation which has come forward to learn the Nagaswaram, a difficult wind instrument. Like his peers, Chinna Maulana keeps the tradition alive by imparting this fine art to the younger generation free, and says he will impart his knowledge till his last breath.
भारतीय बांसुरी पश्चिमी बांसुरी के प्राय समान है, पर भारतीय बांसुरी में कुंजियां नहीं। वो एक शुशिर वाद्य है जो बांस से बनती है, जबकि पाश्चात्य बांसुरी यद्यपि सुशिर वाद्य है, फिर भी वो धातु से ही बनती है। हाल में विशेषतः लंबे आकार की बांसुरी में रुचि बढ़ी है, जिसका श्रेय महान बांसुरी वादक पन्नालाल घोष की कल्पना शक्ति और कौशल को है। और इसी किस्म की बांसुरी चौरसिया जी इस फिल्म में बजा रहे हैं। हरिप्रसाद चौरसिया प्रतिभाशाली युवा बांसुरी वादकों में से एक हैं। उत्तर प्रदेश के निवासी श्री चौरसिया अभी बंबई में रहते हैं। उनका बाल्यकाल उड़ीसा में बीता। उनके कई गुरु हैं, किंतु हाल में उनकी सांगीतिक चिंतन धारा और शैली विख्यात सितार वादक पंडित रविशंकर की पत्नी श्रीमती अन्नपूर्णा देवी की शैली से प्रचुर मात्रा में प्रभावित हुई, जिनसे उन्होंने प्रशिक्षण प्राप्त किया। भारतीय संगीत विशुद्ध रूप से मेलोडी प्रधान यानी एक स्वरानुपूर्णताबद्ध है। इसमें सहस्वरता यानी हार्मनी की आवश्यकता नहीं। सहस्वरता से एक स्वरानुपूर्णता भंग होती है और पश्चिमी संगीत में प्रशिक्षित संगीतज्ञों के लिए सहस्वरता में दृष्टिगत होने वाले स्वरूपों के बिना एक स्वरानुपूर्णता की कल्पना करना प्राय असंभव ही है। भारतीय संगीत में एक स्वरानुपूर्णता के कारण ये स्वाभाविक ही है कि इसे सूक्ष्म और अभिव्यंजक बनाने के लिए कई आकर्षक अलंकारों और कंठा स्वरों का प्राय उपयोग किया जाता है। भारतीय संगीत में चतुर्थ अंश स्वर के प्रयोग जैसी कोई चीज नहीं, किंतु हम तीव्र स्वरों का प्रयोग करते हैं जो डायटोनिक स्केल यानी चतुपूर्ण स्वर के तीव्र से तीव्रतर और कोमल स्वरों से कोमलतर हैं। इस प्रकार के अणु स्वरों के अंतरालों के आधार को ही श्रुतियां कहते हैं। श्रुति का शाब्दिक अर्थ है जो सुना जाए। भारतीय संगीत में प्रयुक्त अलंकार और कर्ण स्वर कई हैं। इनमें एक है गमक। दूसरी है मीड, जो पाश्चात्य संगीत में ग्लिसेंडो के समान है। तीसरी है चपल चंचल मुर्की। भारतीय संगीत में स्वर माधुर्य का आधार है। राग रंजकता पैदा करने वाले स्वर गुंफन को राग कह सकते हैं। प्रत्येक राग का नियमबद्ध एवं निश्चित स्वरूप होता है। जिस प्रकार आप पाश्चात्य संगीत में किसी एक रचना को सोनारा कहते हैं, उसी प्रकार हम अपनी शास्त्रीय संगीत रचनाओं का विभिन्न रागों में विस्तार करते हैं। इस फिल्म में आप राग देश सुनेंगे। ये एक भावपूर्ण राग है जिसमें कभी विषाद, कभी आनंद और कभी श्रृंगार।